Quite an amazing story by Shehzana Anwar, the African champion in women's recurve, went to the Olympics, bore the flag for Team Kenya, and took part in the round of 64 of the Olympics archery competition. She's here with us. Karibu sana. Welcome back to Kenya. You returned last night. Are you tired?
Yes, I am, a little.
Okay. So how was the experience? I mean, you know, just carrying the flag for the nation and, of course, being the first Kenyan to having qualified through competition in archery.
I think for my first experience, greatest experience ever. I doubt any Olympics I attend after this one will come even close to the experience I've had this first time around, especially since I was the flag bearer. I had the honor. Even a prouder moment of my life, making it first and then carrying the flag.
How did you feel when you selected to be the flag bearer for Team Kenya, first of all?
I couldn't believe it at first because it was actually a rumor that went round within the athletes, and I was waiting to hear it from an official. And it was on the day that I was finally informed by the relevant authorities that it was actually me to bear the flag. And I was just over the moon. I was so happy, I couldn't believe it.
So as we watched, we saw the pictures. Of course, we waited until Q because of the Portuguese thing. So some of us were thinking Kenya had been skipped, and then we saw you waving the flag, and you know the commentators were talking under it, the rugby team, part of the athletics team, and all that. As Kenya was making way into the stadium. But of course, you took part in the archery competition. First of all, the qualification, the ranking event, in which you were 62nd out of 64. And then shooting against the defending Olympic and world champion, Ki Bobe of Korea. When you were paired with her or against her, what went into your head at that moment?
To be honest, the first thing that went through my head was that I'm going to shoot with, I'm one of her biggest fans, to be honest. We follow her a lot here in Kenya. She's an excellent shooter. Actually, right before the Olympics, while training in Turkey, I had gotten her autograph from her during the World Cup. So I didn't think she would remember me, but I was horrified considering how good a shooter she was. And at the same time, I was also telling myself, how amazing an experience that would be to shoot with someone I've looked up to most of my archery life. Exactly.
And what's important about archery is there's no tackling, so it's about you and your technique, so you just shoot. And what's amazing, more so, is that you are the only one who got a 10 in that
I was the
session.
first. No, she did hit one, I think, after I did, but I was the first to hit the 10.
First to get a 10.
Yes, so
did
I
that
put the
motivate
pressure
you
on her.
Yeah.
Yes, I put the pressure on her, I believe so. It's the thing with archery is that when you're the underdog, basically, in my case, there's not a lot of pressure on the underdog. It's all on the number one.
Okay.
Because you can imagine if they're taken out by someone who's ranked much lower than them, that's a huge mark on their reputation. So.
How was the reception basically from the other competitors? I mean, just seeing a Kenyan being able to go to the Olympics and shoot.
A lot of them could not believe it. They would ask me at least 3 or 4 times, Kenya? Kenya? I'd be like, yes, I'm from Kenya. They couldn't believe, and like a lot of people when we were getting ready to go out for the opening ceremony, when they would cheer Kenya, they would do a running motion. And I would turn to others and say, we're not just runners anymore. We're getting up there in a lot of other things. We have amazing boxers with us, the rugby players, and now archery as well, and we're hoping for much more.
And speaking about getting out there, how does this then propel the sport of archery in Kenya?
I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see. I've just gotten back. After I won the championship, it was amazing, the amount of exposure archery got. We had a lot of people turning up, and they'd be like, are you the one who won? And we'd be like, yes. And they're like, I want to try. And so our membership went up double, 200%.
Exactly.
And now after we've actually made it to the Olympics and people have seen that, I'm hoping that the exposure would be even more, and archery will grow.
Much bigger. But of course, with support, you actually need support. So you're appealing to some of these institutions, the government itself, to come in a big way and support you, because you actually pay for yourself to compete in some of these continental events.
Unfortunately, yes.
So what would you appeal to the government and the relevant authorities?
I think if they could support us for more international competitions, that would be tremendous, especially professional training. Archery has reached so far, we don't have the extra professional help. We need to progress. So with that kind of help, like the training I went for, paid by my family, that helped me a lot, but it wasn't enough. I had needed 3 months. I only managed to go for 5 weeks. So with that kind of push, I think there's no stopping us.
But with the support also, you need a huge talent base within which you can pick from. So there are new people who would actually want to join the sport. As we were doing these sessions throughout this period, a lot of guys were calling me and saying, you know what sport is that? I want to try it out. It looks interesting. It's something that, you know, is actually a motivating story that we had a Kenyan taking part in the Olympics in the first place, having qualified through competition. What do you tell people who want to join the sport and maybe take part in, you know, future events?
First of all, I'd tell them to come try it, number one. That's always number one. A lot of people say, oh, I'm Robin Hood, I can do this. I say, no, come try it. Fall in love like I did, and then stick with it. That's most important. We have a lot of dedicated archers with us currently. Funding is their biggest issue. They cannot afford to go for competition. I think if we get the funding, we'd have a full team, and Kenya could make it on the map, the world map.
What about the equipment itself?
The equipment is pricey, yes, but it's a lot like, I like to explain for cars, considering my dad is a rally driver, everybody knows cars. You can still make it from point A to B with your Toyota Vitz. But if you can afford the Porsche, nobody's saying you can't get it. See, that's a trick. So if we can get everybody to get the Vitz, they can still make it as far as they can. And then we can look forward into getting the Porsches for everybody.
What lessons did you learn from the experience in Rio in terms of the technical aspect of the sport, the organizational aspect of the sport?
I'm actually blessed to say that the Olympics, as big as, considering it's the biggest sporting event in the world, I did attend the Commonwealth Games in 2010 in Delhi. And the systems are literally the same. I thought I was going for something I wouldn't expect at all, but surprisingly, I'd already been through these kinds of systems. So I would say the only thing I was not used to was the level of competition at the Olympic Games. These are the top of the top. So that's the only thing that took me by
Speaking
storm.
of competition, the Koreans. Wu Jin broke the record on the first day of the ranking.
And then again, he got taken out on his on the 64th end, just like me, by an underdog. So So it was a lot of surprises. There's one of the top from Mexico. Another person I look up to, Ida Roman. She was taken out as well by an underdog, who went on to take out another person. She was ranked 51st, but she took out 2 of the top 10s. And then she was eliminated further on by, I believe, a Korean. So.
Your mom was always by your side, of course, as a coach, you know, standing behind you. And during those moments when you shot lower than you expected, maybe a 5 like we saw there, what was her role throughout that period?
Just to be my back, but just to remind me, because as an archer, there's a lot of concentration I need, a lot of things that I have to keep putting through my head to keep my cool. When you're under that much pressure, like I was shooting against one of the world's top, I forget them. And so what she does is she's always telling me things I have gone through before. She's always telling me, remember, you have to breathe, remember to keep cool, remember this. If she knows I have a particular issue, I had a bit of pain in my shoulder during the event. She was always telling me, remember to keep your shoulder up, because that's when the pain is least, and things like that. She was a real support.
All right, and we have the ministry officials and of course some of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya officials over there. How did they receive you as an archer, a sport that they are not used to per se?
They were very supportive, actually. They would always tell me, this is your first games. As I said, just do your best. This will be your mark regardless of how you perform. So I was amazed, and it was incredible. They were very supportive. So they said, this is the first of many. And after my event, they said, don't worry about it. It's the first of many. You will beat the Korean next time. That's
Okay. Finally, what is up next for you?
I'm ready to take whatever comes. Actually, I'm just looking to relax for a little bit, then get straight back into training and keep working at it. I do believe there should be an Africa Championship early next year, so that's my working towards that first. But otherwise, I'm already thinking of the next Olympics. All right. To be honest.
Finally, that camera over there. And tell the Kenyans who are interested in the sport, who are interested to maybe come and watch you, look at you as you do your thing, where they can find you and what they need to do.
We're based at Strathmore University, number 1. We meet every Sundays, 4 to 6 p.m. You should definitely come down, try out the sport. Even if you don't want to do it as a sport, it's an amazing hobby, an amazing stress buster. So you work your week, you get annoyed or whatever, you come and you relieve that stress.
All right. Thank you so much, Shehzana Anwar,
the
flag bearer for Team Kenya, and of course an archer at the Olympics as well. Congratulations and all the best as you go forward.